I want a penthouse, I want a Lamborghini, and I want to be really, really popular. We listen and we don't judge. Well, maybe a little bit, but only for comedic relief. If the things I mentioned in the beginning aren't a motivator enough to get you going because you know that they're not going to make you happy, then you're at the right place. Because we, as purpose driven individuals, do not care enough about those things that seem to motivate most people. They seem superficial to us. We know that if we go towards them, we're still going to feel like something is missing. And therefore, so many of us feel stuck and stay in situations in which we know it's not really the right place for us. Well, I'm here to tell you my story, how I was able to get out of that place, how I was able to tap into my purpose, how I was able to start manifesting my vision and really live in alignment with who I wanted to be. And from one day to the other, everything changed because you're not reaching your fullest potential in one day. But once you start going towards the person you want to be, you're on the right trajectory. And I'm going to make it very practical today. I'm really going to talk about the points that make the biggest shifts for me and that you can integrate into your life. I've created the Living in Purpose poster to help you define and track your 2025 goals across the 5 key pillars for an epic life on your terms. So download through the link in the description, write down your goals, review them weekly, and watch your progress take off. And don't forget to subscribe. Big things are coming this year, and I can't wait to share them with you. Here's why so many purpose-driven individuals struggle to manifest things. We know that we need to have a very strong why. Everybody talks about it, but it isn't a why like, okay, I need to have financial abundance or I need to reach a lot of people because intrinsically I don't feel good enough and I feel like if I achieve those things, then I'm going to have a standing in society. I will gain worth through it. Like all of those thoughts seem too superficial for us. And so that's why so many of us stay stuck in situations where we rather not take any steps at all because every step forward just means that I'm exuding energy. I'm putting energy into something that I know isn't going to be really fruitful. It might give me some financial relief, but I probably have to sacrifice my soul for it, or I have to work with people that I don't want to work with, or I have to put energy into causes that don't matter to me. And so we're always in this dilemma, and it seems like there's no way out. But there are 3 main ingredients which are integrated in all of my programs and everything that I do. I've used them with everything that I've built up so far, and I want to share them with you. It's no rocket science. It's just something that we very often don't want to look into because it involves evoking really negative emotions within us. That being said, I'm a very practical person. I'm not going to stay here and say, okay, you need to journal and then you have to think about your vision and then everything is going to be great. No, we actually have to take action. We have to confront resistance within us and we have to figure out what we really want. And it is easier said than done. But if you actually follow those couple of steps, I promise you, you will know what you want more today than you would have known yesterday, and you will know it better the day after. And with every single step you take, your path will become clearer until it disappears because you're just in it. So the first step is aligning your energy with your purpose. If you're somebody like me, you don't have an immense amount of energy to begin with. And so many people come back home after a long day of work and there's no emotional or mental capacity to think about anything else than do every little step that is necessary to just keep your head above water. But in order to really get out of that rat race, we have to align our energy with our purpose. Well, in order to align our energy with our purpose, and to start building it up, we have to first figure out what we want. And what we want is to be of service, to really contribute to a bigger cause, something that is bigger than us, while maintaining our integrity, while maintaining our values, while making sure that I will show up the way I am. Because if we neglect who we are, if we make any kind of sacrifice in order to make other people comfortable, even though we would like to share our gifts or we would like to really improve somebody's life, we're always going to have this dilemma of, okay, in order to help that particular person, I actually have to make myself smaller. I have to diminish my light. And once you do that, your energy will just be depleted. There's no way out. I've tried it many times. Trust me, it doesn't work. You are not going to get out. So ask yourself, what is it that you want to do? What is it that you want to be? Because very often we just look at a career, or we look at, starting a business, or we look at what we want to work. And that's not actually something that has to be a purpose in life. Our purpose in life is how we show up. It's how we see the world, how we inspire every single person that we meet. It can be that you do it through your art. It can be that you do it through the way you just touch people through your being. Right? There is no right or wrong here. But I promise you, if you are not becoming bigger and bigger in a sense of I'm hiding less and less of who I am, and I'm able to pull people up in one way or another. Some people do this through selling products. I'm not like that. Like, I have never been somebody who was interested in, and I'm going to create a product that is going to solve another person's problem in a very physical and material way. It just never interested me. I'm also not somebody who wanted to be a lawyer. Every single one of us has something that we want to contribute the world with. There's something within us that we know this is a gift of ours. This is something that we already do, but we're probably doing it in an unhealthy way. We're probably suppressing it because we don't have time for it, or we don't value it enough. So if you're, for example, an artist and you love to draw, but you feel like, well, it's not that good, you might hold back. You might feel like, what for? It's never going to make me any money. But please keep this aspect of making money as a second thing. Like, I understand that we want to connect those two, and it's like a dream come true at some point if you can say, I can use my purpose as also the thing that generates my income. But I really recommend for every one of you, don't make this a have to. Because once you put that much pressure on building your purpose and living out your purpose and manifesting your purpose, you're always going to put yourself in the box in order to pay the bills. So my recommendation is, and this is not just my recommendation, I've seen it from many people as well, please keep those things separate. Like, have something that, make sure that pays your bills, that keeps your head above water, so you can start building your purpose. You can start building yourself. You can start building a life of purpose. And so when it comes to aligning your energy towards your purpose, it's important to make sure that your purpose is your North Star. So for me, that meant I started to work out. I started to eat better. I started to watch, how I sleep. I did meditation. I did visualization. I decluttered so much in my environment, people, relationships, not because it was something that was popular or because it was something that people told me was great. The only motivator that really helped me was the fact that I knew that if I want to get out of the place that I am, I will need as much energy as I possibly can have. And the only way I'm going to have that energy is if I do things for me, for my body, for my mind. That was the motivation. For example, working out, I'm sorry, it just wouldn't have never motivated me enough if somebody told me, oh, you have to work out because it's healthy for you. Yeah, I know that, but that didn't really motivate me. It motivated me when I knew, oh, I'm going to have more energy so I can go towards my purpose. Same thing with your job. If you say, this is my job and I don't know why I should be invested in that. Well, if your job gets more and more in alignment with your purpose, meaning you work with people who motivate you, you work with people who inspire you, people that are not pulling you down, and at the same time, you are working at something where okay, this kind of environment helps me to become the person I want to be, then you're in the right place. If you're at a job where you feel like I'm only here because I'm going to make more and more money here, but the more I grow, the less energy I will have because it's some place where I just know that's not the right place for me, then make it something that is temporary. Maybe you say, well, I'm going to stay here for the next 5 years until my other project has really grown to a place where I want it to be, or until I can make a switch into something that is more in alignment with who I want to be and how I want to contribute. one way or another. It can be, through a purpose in your private life. It can be that your next job is something that will give you more purpose, but have your purpose as your North Star so everything else can then align to it. And your purpose is who you're going to be. Your purpose is not, I'm going to be a broadcaster on TV and I'm going to, help millions of people see me and, get inspired by me and all of that. No, your purpose in that moment is, I'm going to inspire people by being me. And you'll probably want to do it through TV, but you're open to, any kind of way this is going to manifest. But you have to really define for yourself how you want to see yourself and how you want to show up. In bootcamp, I've called this, how do you want to be seen? How do you want to serve? And then there's a sweet spot. That's the place we want to hit. And this is where you want to align your energy to. And it doesn't matter if anybody else can see it yet. It doesn't matter if you've achieved it. The point is that your actions are going towards that. Because if they're not, you're always going to stay stuck in a place. It doesn't matter how fast you move. The point is just that there's always forward movement. The second step is clearing internal resistance. And this is easier said than done. And for a lot of people, they get stuck in this place because it seems like I just have to work through my childhood trauma. I have to work on my limiting beliefs, and I'm going to do a lot of courses, and I'm going to, really figure out what's going on within me. And that is the reason why I'm not really manifesting the results that I want. But all the steps, like 1, 2, and 3, they're something you do every single day. They're not something that, you do and then you take action. It's really a combination of all of them because you will always have something to clear. There's always something that's going to hold you back. And what I've seen within myself is that there is this fear of, well, what if I show up and I fail? What if I show up and people recognize I'm not that special? What if I show up and, what I have to offer is like just completely unnecessary? And then if I don't do anything, that I can still have in the back of my mind that, yeah, there is something special about me, but if I really show up and I don't get the recognition that I was hoping for, then I will get the rejection of you're not worth it or you're nothing special. But if you go out looking for that validation, you're never going to get it because it's not possible. Nobody can give you that validation. You're not special. You're not anything extraordinary. And that is what makes this journey worthwhile because we all have something to contribute. Like I like to use this example of Beyonce. Okay, Beyonce, world fame, all of that, sells out arenas, all of that. I never wanted to be Beyonce. So if I look at her, there's no way of feeling of, oh, I failed. Because that has nothing to do with who I want to be. On the other hand, there have been people in my life who've exhibited qualities that I know I have, but maybe I'm not as good at them as they are, and so I held back. Or anything like this. Like that actually made me hold back even more. But the point is, we don't have to look at ourselves as, somebody special, somebody's going to change the world and like do those big super things. Like just see it in a way we're all contributors. We can put our stamp onto something. We can add. We can improve the world in one way or another. And the way you do that is by saying, well, I have learned something. I have something to offer that I may have not been able to offer 5 years ago. At the same time, I also know that I have something to offer that, a lot of people are not able to offer. Every one of us has that. It does not matter in what area it is, if it inspires others, if it makes them see the world in a different way, if it's just a different perspective, it all matters. And if you look at it this way, then you're going to feel so much better when you fail, because of course you're going to fail. Everything that you start, you're going to suck at. Like it will be horrific. When I started doing these videos, 10 years ago, 1,200 videos ago, like those videos are not something that I like looking at in the beginning. This fell short on so many levels of what I wanted to achieve, how I wanted to view myself, but it's not about that. It's not about the result that you bring. It's about showing up. It's about adding something. It's about voicing an opinion. And it's about doing it in a way where you know there is room for growth here. This is not just, oh, me speaking into the void. There is, a plan behind it. There are ways that people can benefit from this. So, yes, we do want to solve somebody else's problem. Yes, we want to contribute something. We're not doing something to get validation that there's anything special about us. We're doing it because we know that somebody else is going to benefit from it. And when you do that, your limiting beliefs will naturally show up from time to time and you continue taking action. Because it does not matter if I'm going to be world famous or nobody is really going to appreciate that, but I have to bring it. You know the saying, right? If they don't see it, then that's on them. If I don't bring it, that's on me. So I can live with the fact that most people will never see what I can do for them. I can live with the fact that most people don't benefit from who I am or what I have to offer. But if I don't even show it, if I keep it hidden, then that's something that's on me. That's something that's in my control. And so no matter how much you work on your limiting beliefs and all of that, and I'm a fan of that, like, don't get me wrong. Know that taking action, it's just a necessary component. You have to take action. You have to continue showing up and to know that this is something that you hold on to. You can change your direction. You can change how you do it, but you show up. You don't just keep it hidden. And then when, resistance comes up, it's just part of the game. There's no shortcut. There is no golden formula here. Because if you want to really manifest your vision and live in purpose, then it's more about finding yourself and showing up as that version and sharing what you have to share, right? There is nobody else's thing that you can just take on. You can get inspired by other people. You can use techniques and strategies, and people can mirror back to you, oh, okay, that's how they do it. So how would I do it on my terms? Like, how would I really live out my life the way I want to? But it's still going to be your journey. And if that means you love being a mother, if that means your biggest purpose is providing for your children and other children, safety and community and joy, then all power to you. Like, there is no, this is right, this is wrong. You have to do it in the big way or small way. Remember, I don't care what Beyonce does or Rihanna does. Like, I never would want to have a beauty company. Like, it's just not me. So why even try to be somebody like this? And then the ebook that I wrote like 10 years ago when I was in the biggest shift of my life, the example I gave there was, if you're really successful in a corporate world, but your biggest joy is to be a shepherd, then you're failing. You can forgive yourself. You can be kind to yourself. You can tell yourself, like, it's okay. It's not bad that you're here. You just did the best with what you could. But you have to understand that just because something is accepted by society, if you value something else more, then that's what we should be doing, because that's going to give us real fulfillment, and that's going to help us to actually have more energy and to continue to have more energy. And thankfully, nowadays, we're more and more in a time where all of this is available to us. You know that all the structures are falling apart, new things are emerging, new ways of living are emerging, and we more and more have the freedom to really go our own path. And then the last step is taking action without force. So this is the typical thing that you've heard, power versus force. If you have to force something, you're exuding more energy than you do have. When you act out of power, it is really more so, I feel inspired right now, I'm taking an action. And even if I don't feel inspired, I know that from time to time, I have to prioritize this that matters to me most. It has to be the thing that's going to drive my year. It's going to be the thing that's going to drive my life. And it can be something that is your North Star. It's not something that always has to be the main thing that drives you. But you know that if you don't have that, you're just going to lose yourself for a while. And that's okay as well, as long as you know that this is what makes you feel good and this is where you're going. And when you have that, you can then make the choices of taking action. So if you want to write a book, then sit down every Saturday at 10 a.m. and you write. It doesn't matter if it's one word, one sentence, or 3 pages, but you sit down. Because once you've done that, Like once you've even written that one sentence, you have won the day, you've won the week, and you can relax. This is a feeling that nobody can take away from you. And you know that if you do too much, you're going to burn out. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That's how we want to roll. That's where we want to go. And last but not least, and this is not really a step, it's just something to keep in mind, trust in divine timing. And in that case, what I mean is you can sometimes put in a lot of work over years and you don't really see the success that others may be seeing. That does not matter. You know what you're doing. You know that you're already winning. I really felt like I have made the biggest shifts in my life the first day when I changed my perspective, when I saw the first person that I was able to help, when I got any kind of feedback that showed me, okay, like you're on the right path. We have to connect with other people. It's good to do things for yourself, but it will never be enough. We are a community in one way or another. We are interconnected. We need human relationships. And adding something and being of service is in our nature. We just have to make sure that we protect ourselves in the process. And sometimes you will have some external recognition 5 years later. Maybe it will take some time before you see the real life results. But as long as you're taking that step forward, you are already doing everything that is necessary for your soul to be at peace. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? That we know that we're not leaving money on the table, that we know that we're really showing up the best way we can. For example, I'm somebody, I cannot work 16-hour days. I can't even work 8-hour days. Like, that's not my way of working. That's not the way that makes sense for me, right? And so why try it? You don't have to force yourself to be somebody you're not. You just have to be okay with what you have to offer and to know that as long as I know that I'm tapping into my potential, I'm good. But if I know that I could do more, if I know that I'm not brave enough yet to show up as authentically as I could, then that's okay, but it's an indication of what the next step is. So now moving forward, stop looking at things that don't inspire you. If you don't understand why other people get inspired by materialistic things, you don't have to understand it. It's not that there's something wrong with you why you don't understand it. And the reason why something is missing is because we're not really taught and shown what it means to manifest as a purpose-driven individual. But there are more and more role models out there. There are more examples. There is a way. And I see it all around me. And I'm so thankful that I live in this time because, yes, there are many horrible things going on in the world, but there's also amazing movements. And we can choose what we're going to focus on. Are we going to focus on building and inspiring and motivating the people around us in one way or another? Or are we going to look into the areas where we don't want to be a part of? How I always like to say, if 95% of your days suck, you have to focus on the 5% that don't and increase those. That's how you really create lasting change. Remember, if you want to take the next step, if you want to take to the next level, then either work with me one-on-one or get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. You can also look into the ebook or the free material. Everything is centered around this, but in much, much more detail. And it's for people like you and me who really do things different than what society is still telling us. So everything you need to know, you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then check out the video you see on the screen right now. I'll see you in the next one.